Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, 22nd of December, back in the region Nook with just the one parcel to unbox today, courtesy of my friend Neve, who, from the packaging, has been busy buying things from drivethrurpg.com. So I want to thank her for not opening this and bringing it over for me to unbox. And inside we have the Duel at Dangerford. Okay, this is a scenario for RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha. It's from the Jonstown Compendium, which is the community program for RuneQuest and Quest Worlds and 13th Age. For basically all games set in Chaosium's Glorantha. This is a RuneQuest adventure by Nick Brook. Okay, and let's have a look at Dangerford. King Frandos the Tarshite, by the red moon he swore that the great house of Hon-Il will suffer wrong no more. By the red moon he swore it, and named a trysting day, and bade his messengers ride forth, east and west and south and north, to summon his array. East and west and south and north the messengers ride, and tower and town and cottage have heard the trumpets blast. Shame on the faithless Tarshite who lingers in his home, when Frandos the Farganite is marching to Boldholm. The horse and the footmen are pouring in amain, from many a stately marketplace, from many a fruitful plain, from many a lonely hamlet, which, hid by beech and pine, like eagle's nest, hangs on a crest, within the great glow line. There may be 30 chosen priestesses who serve the reaching moon, who always for Frandos with other worlds commune. Evening and morn the 30 have turned their verses o'er, traced from the right on linen white by Eripi on Tor. And with one voice the 30 have their glad answers shown. Go forth, Frandos, go forth, beloved of moon, go and return in glory to furthest royal dome, and hang round Natha's altars the treasures of Boldholm. And now hath every city sent up her tale of men, the horsemen are 6,000, the foot are 1,010. Before the gates of Aldachur is met the great array, a good man, a proud man was Frandos upon the trysting day. For all the Tarshite armies were ranged beneath his eye, and many a banished Sartarite, and many a stout ally. And with a mighty following to join the muster came Fazir, the wide red general of everlasting fame. So that's actually the blurb on the back, and this is essentially a scenario basically which deals with one of the probes by the Lunar Army, basically down south, back after the Dragon Rise, and there are several sort of scenarios that sort of deal with that available for RuneQuest. So there's this one. There's one which basically I can't remember. Arrows of the West, something like that. Arrows Core, something like that. Okay, which is associated with the Arms and Armies book. And then there's a scenario itself in what's it called? In the RuneQuest role-playing role-playing in Glorantha starter set, okay, which works as both a solo adventure and also an adventure which you can play through, and you defend Dangerford against an attack by lunar forces, and you fight along Kalia Starbrow. This essentially, okay, is set during the same sort of period. So what you can do is you could run all three of those scenarios. You could run them one after. Essentially, you could over the period of sort of like a few a season or so, you could have multiple probes by the lunar forces, and the player characters sort of like being called up again and again, essentially to basically drive off the lunar forces each time. And essentially in here, Queen Lyca is leading the Colomar tribal host, and back up to Dangerford to withstand the attack. The player characters, which ideally should include an all-length warrior, an all-length or humanity warrior amongst that number, have a chance to forestall that attack completely. Literally going onto the Isle Dangerous, and there engage in a humanity duel. So this is a really good scenario, especially if you've got a humanity amongst your party. The other thing I think is essentially there's if you're a RuneQuest or if you're a Glorantha file, there's a lot of nice background information in here, which is worth digging into, and it's all interesting. But if you don't have access to a lot of that information, it's a little bit really surplus to requirements. It's nice to have there, but not absolutely necessary. But yeah, otherwise this is a really nice sort of focus scenario that you really works in sort of like the period of 1625, 1626. Then you can you basically involve your player characters in the ongoing campaign after the Dragon Rise and the Lunar's reprisals or probes back further down south. So you've got a couple of nice appendices. So you've got basically the full version of the poem there, which essentially this is basically a loose adaptation of the opening verses of Horatius. You have basically playtest feedback for the Smoking Ruin, which is Chris Klug's scenario from the Smoking Ruins and Other Adventures, and it's this is nice. Again, it's sort of like it's only entirely relevant if you as the GM have a copy of the Smoking Ruin, which is likely now, as that's available. And again, that's something else I have reviewed on the blog. So you've got, this will be actually now worth going back to, just to, if you've played through Smoking Ruin or in the process of preparing it, just getting an idea of how one playing group played their way through it. And lastly, you've got Apocalypse expansions for the Dragon of Thunder Hills. Details of the Provincial Militia, and other books by Nick Brook on the Jonstown Compendium, including, of course, the Rough Guide to Glamour, which is a fascinating read about the capital of the Lunar Empire. It's lots of fascinating information in there. Lots of interesting parallels between 20th century cultural figures, which you wouldn't necessarily think about, but really work. For example, that's basically you have the Emperor, son of the Red Emperor, as Elvis himself. And the other thing that Nick Brook does, he keeps the Jonstown Compendium scenarios and source books. Essentially, Jonstown Compendium Scenarios and Sourcebook is an updated index of all the titles on the Jonstown Compendium. Basically, a bit of background and information about each of them, and it's a nice way to keep track of them. So yeah, and then there's just a couple of bits more, sort of like bits of advertising. Of course, the Sandheart campaign, which is very good. Again, there's something else I have reviewed, and a couple of other books. I have, well, of course, I reviewed Dress of Clearwine recently. Basically, 6 seasons in Sartar and Valley of Plenty. Both of those are reviewed, and if you've not got them, you really ought to have them. They're really very good introductions to playing in Glorantha, whether you're playing using RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha, or you're playing a game using Quest Worlds. Certainly, probably a couple of the best books of this year purely in terms of game ability. Anyway, this is the Duel at Dangerford. A great scenario to put into your campaign and tie your characters into ongoing events to the north of Sartar, especially if you've got a Humakti warrior in your party. So I do recommend you pick this up from the Jonstown Compendium, available in print now. So I want to thank my friend Neve, for lending me this and letting me open it. Thank you for watching. If you like it, click the like button. If you have any comments or feedback, please take the time just to add something. I will respond. And if you want to see more unboxings from me, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with more unboxings soon. Bye for now.